to go, and 87 tournaments later on the IBM ATP Tour, all lead to the top 8 players to this festival in Frankfurt for the IBM ATP Tour World Championship. And in our feature match in this round-robin competition, today it is the number 2 player in the world, Andre Agassi, taking on the number 6 player in the world, Michael Chang, up to Drysdale alongside Fred Stolle and Mary Carrillo. Pete Sampras earlier today in a big win over Stefan Edberg, a close and beautiful match won by Sampras tiebreak in the 3rd set. So it took him 3 very hard sets to beat Stefan Edberg. He is still in with a chance now after losing to Boris Becker. Take a look at the white group standings. It is Pete Sampras now at 1-1 after losing to Becker. Goran Ivanisevic is 0-2. He has still got to play against Pete Sampras. The outcome of that match may determine whether Sampras is in the semi-finals on Saturday. Boris Becker, meanwhile, is 2-0. He will be here on Saturday. And Stefan Edberg still alive at 1-1. The red group is the group that you're about to watch now with Michael Chang and Andre Agassi. Agassi has 1-1, but he's beaten Beresitegi, who is not going to beat anybody here. He is basically a clay courter. Sergi Bruguera is 1-0. He took out Michael Chang. So this is a must-win match for Michael Chang, who is now 1-1. Chang yesterday took out Bruguera. Make that Chang lost to Bruguera rather, but he took out Beresitegi 6-1, 6-love, and Beresitegi is out of it. Jerry Armstrong is in the chair. Number 6, Chang, who has had a very successful indoor season this year, and Agassi, who has been equally successful.
Andre Agassi is 2 years older than Michael Chang, and they don't live far apart, actually. Agassi living in Las Vegas. Michael Chang lives in Henderson, Nevada, which is on the border of Las Vegas. They say they don't really see much of each other.
I wonder why.
Michael Chang, he likes going to Lake Mead, which is about 20 minutes away from his home in Nevada, and he goes fishing there. And I don't think Andre does a lot of...
I don't think he does. He drives the fast cars. I think Michael Chang, who likes the fishing, is 22 years of age and 5'9", and as Mary said, lives in Henderson, Nevada now, very close to Andre Agassi. So this could be the battle for Nevada. But as far as personalities are concerned, I don't think they're anywhere near. They're thousands of miles apart as far as that is concerned.
Yeah, 2 Americans, and as we say, they're from the same state. But I think Agassi has only seen Henderson, Nevada at about 120 miles an hour in one of his cars.
Never played against each other on a carpet, these two. Agassi leads the series 6-2. Last one was the US Open, which Agassi went on to win. It was a tough 5-setter. And he has just had an outstanding latter half of the year. Seemed to turn things around. Remember, he won the Canadian Open in Toronto this year, Agassi, and really never looked back. His indoor season has been especially impressive. He won the Paris tournament, Mary, that you covered for ESPN, and before that he won in Vienna over Michael Steek in the final.
He's had a great indoor season. You know, Andre Agassi does not, historically, he never liked playing the fall tour. All over in Europe, he didn't like spending an awful lot of time there. He'd have good matches. Of course, he won this title back in 1990. But he's got a very different mindset now, a much better mentality. He's taking the idea of being in Europe for stretches of time much better. He did escape back to Las Vegas last week. Here's a look at the Chang gang. Joe Chang in the green sweater, his father, his brother Carl, mother Betty.
Chang went back to New York last week and came back over in a private jet with coach Brad Gilbert. Interestingly enough, I think it was when he beat Chang at the US Open that turned his season around, because he won the tournament earlier than that, but up in Canada, and then he lost first round in New Haven to Jan Simmerich when they played all that music, and he was unhappy about that. People did not think when it got to 5 sets that he'd beat Chang at the US Open, and that started to turn things around for him, and he has not looked back.
Agassi actually since Wimbledon has only lost 3 matches, and we've mentioned all the titles that he's won, including Toronto, US Open, Vienna and Paris. He's never been ranked higher than where he is now, number 2 in the world. He's been at number 3, but never this high.
Chang realizes that he has to be pretty darn aggressive if he is to win this, because We just feel that in all departments, Agassi just has a little bit more power. Does everything pretty much the same. They don't go to the net very often. As far as the serve's concerned, Agassi's got a little bit more there. As far as stick off the ground is concerned, he has a little more firepower there as well.
You know, for all talk about the firepower, etc., Michael Chang has had a terrific indoor season, 23-6. He won Philadelphia and Beijing. Wins over Ivan Izovich, the big server, Todd Martin, another big server, and Jim Courier, among a lot of others. 30-15.
In fact, it is only Goran Ivanisevic who has a better indoor record than Michael Chang. He's won 24 indoor matches this season, which is one more than Chang's. But again, Agassi's been playing the best indoor ball of the last couple of weeks.
Chang very unlucky in his match against Bruguera the first day of the round robin competition here, and he'd have been in a lot better position. This is a must-win situation for him now against Agassi. Tough to gauge Chang's form apart from that match with Bruguera, because Beresitagi just has not done any damage here at all. Agassi took him out 6-2, and love and 1 for Chang. So Beresitagi has not been a testing ground for these two.
Game point Chang. Chang holds on, 1 game to love. Best of 3 round robin competition here. A big match here for Michael Chang of the USA. Michael Chang and Andre Agassi. Agassi has won 1. Chang is 1-1 in their group. So a big one for both players. Everybody kind of assumes that Andre Agassi is going to be in the final on Sunday. When you talk to people, they really feel that he is the man of the moment, and certainly he's the man of this time of the year. This year. He won the first IBM ATP Tour World Championship here in Frankfurt, and then the year after that, in '91, he lost to Courier in the semifinals. Hasn't played since then.
Well, this particular title was where it all started for Andre Agassi, and this is what he's done so far this year. Second serve points 154%, and he's second to Chang there. Points 1 returning serve, 59%, and break point conversions, 47%. He's ranked 3 on the tour in that department. Return games won, 34%. If you're winning a third of your return games, you're doing pretty darn good. You break somebody's serve every 3 games, that's not bad.
Michael Chang's father. Whole group is here. You've already identified them. That's wide.
Michael Chang makes the approach. He knows he's got to be a little bit aggressive. What's this one, though? Goes for a little too much. He dances across, trying to bring that one back in. But as he skipped across, so did the ball, and it missed by 6 inches.
He got it. 30-all.
Look at this, how clean this shot is, and taking risks on the return as opposed to getting them back in play. Once they get back into play, it's Agassi's firepower that's going to dictate the trend of the rallies. So Michael Chang's got to finish some shots off quickly himself.
And he knows that, Fred, and he's not intimidated, by the way. He's lost 6 times out of 8 matches, but he's in it.
Michael Chang played Andre Agassi closer than anyone at this year's U.S. Open. That was a 5-set match. And Agassi, of course, beat 5 seeds on the way to his first U.S. Open title, Chang among them.
Unseeded.
Unseeded, just like the fiery one was when he won his...
Stole my record. I'm so upset.
You got some ink about it. You got some ink, Fred. Agassi holds on. It's Chang who wants a call. He's not apparently going to get it from Jerry Armstrong. Let's see. Agassi's coming in.
That looked a little long to me, I must admit. Well, they've done it.
Well, that's pretty good sportsmanship from Agassi there, because he said, hey, that's the second one. If Michael thinks he's missed that one, that's the second one that's been missed by the same lines judge. You be the judge on this one. A close call. Obviously, both these players thought it was long. Agassi on the serve. He's got a pretty good feel as to whether that ball's long when he hits that serve.
Michael Chang has come out cracking right from the first ball of this match. He's seen the ball well. He's taking it early, trying to rob Agassi of time. My feeling is that if he can continue that for 2 sets, you know, God bless him. But I think he will be forced to press an awful lot, and that could cause errors from Chang.
That's a good point, Mary, because remember after he lost to Bruguera, he said at times he felt he was pressed and he tried too hard to force the pace along.
Right, to break open the point, to make something happen. And Agassi will make you do that. You're going to feel like you have to create something to win the point.
Problem is you do, because if you hit anything short, Agassi just jumps all over it. Only lost 1 match since the start of the US Open. It was in Stockholm indoors. Agassi, 20-1.
Michael Chang's stat rankings on second serve points won. He leads the tour 54%. That's astounding. That one on returning serve, he's number 4 at 56%. Return games won, number 6 on the tour at 33%. Along, very close there, those stats to Andre Agassi.
That did look wide.
She had a good look at it.
He went overall. Jerry Armstrong will very.
Right down the line at it.
He went overall the ones on the far side of the court. Well, Jerry Armstrong said, well, the lines judge had a good look at it. We had a good look at it, and I think everybody thinks it was on the line.
Agassi does it.
No. He didn't have a good look at it.
Sterling's got a break point here coming up.
Again, Chang is pressed on 2 backhands in this game alone.
30
Point you two are making, though, is that Agassi makes you press. I don't think you have any alternative. You beat him in the kind of condition that he is now, and playing as confidently as he is. You've got to press to beat him. And then it's all got to work, too.
That's nicely done. A good serve from Michael Chang. It's the best improvement he's made in his game in the last 2 years. Well struck. 112 miles an hour. Brad Gilbert, Andre Agassi's coach since March of this year.
Private jet's the only way to fly. That's what Gilbert says. Andre Agassi's jet brought him over.
Another backhand missed.
Chang knows it under pressure on that shot. He really didn't need, under those conditions, didn't need to go for that much. He needed an angle on that one. He hit 3 or 4 good strokes to set that one up and then tried to do a bit too much with it. And he was very annoyed.
He's coming off his shots because he's so eager to do something with them. See if he can calm down a little.
For Chang to get annoyed, it's just a slap of the thigh or just complains to himself a little bit.
Chang had a good year, as we've been saying, 6 tournaments, including the Super 9 event in Cincinnati, where he took out Edberg in the final again. That was the 2nd time in 2 years. But he hasn't been a good player here. He's only won a couple of matches in 9 tries.
Didn't win any last year, if I remember correctly.
No.
Actually, Jim Courier didn't win any matches here last year. Chang beat him. Laughing because it got lost up in the electronic scoreboard, that lob.
Chang beat Courier last year. The only other one that he's won, though, in 3 outings here was Beresitegi yesterday.
That's what it was. He'd won 1 in 9 coming into this year's event.
Game point, Chang.
Talk about foot speed. We've talked about the speed of shot. But foot speed, both these fellas are pretty comparable, although you've got to give the edge to Chang there. But Agassi is not far behind him in that department. This time it's Agassi who makes the approach to the net. Chang just tries to slide that one in down the line. A one-handed backhand. He was forced to take the other hand off it. Missed the line.
Another breakpoint shot here for Agassi, and as you saw that sort of animation from Chang after he missed that one-handed backhand you're talking about, Fred, you saw so little of any kind of animation from him. He was so deadly serious all the time, and in general he still is a very serious player, but I like to see a little bit of levity from him. It would be nice. Did a great job with the IBM ATP Tour Charities as the chairman of that.
He's a very articulate young man.
There's the first break, and it goes to Agassi. Players are going to change ends. Agassi ahead 2 games to 1. It was a rematch of the 1993 final in Cincinnati. Stefan Edberg facing Michael Chang. Edberg, playing in his 2nd straight final, lost easily to Chang, who successfully defended his crown in Cincinnati for his 5th title of the year. Two games to 1, Chang with the lead, and Michael, I should say, Agassi with the lead and a break. It is Michael Chang who won Cincinnati last year this year rather, for the 2nd time in a row, beating Stefan Edberg. But here is Agassi, and he has him down in the first set.
There's the white sock and the black sock look. It's interesting.
It's a yin and a yang thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it I've committed the same thing many times, but not on purpose.
Love 30.
Actually, Cliff does that a lot. And he wears them inside out, too.
And it's not intentional.
And he doesn't know.
He's got no idea.
I am just lucky to find a pair of socks in the morning. $15.30.
Tell you what, Chang is very popular here and is the king of Asia. But this man Agassi, he's got it all over the world, and even the ladies that serve us down in the press room here say, "When's my man playing? When's my man playing?" Their man is Andre Agassi.
Michael Chang is big news in the Orient. There's no doubt about it. 24 and 3. He also plays well when he plays there. He won Beijing again this year, Hong Kong and Jakarta.
Have a look at those titles. Where are they all?
Finalist in Tokyo in both the outdoor and indoor event there.
Break point chance now for Chang. Agassi hasn't hit any winners yet. That's kind of interesting. I mean, he's got himself a break already, although he's in danger now. But
not many unforced errors until this game. A couple of forehands that he has not hit cleanly. That last one wasn't right in the middle of the strings.
That is long, and there's the break back for Michael Chang. It's 2 games all. He said going into this tournament, Chang did, that he thought that the points were going to be a little bit longer because of the somewhat slower conditions. Take a look at his brother Paul watching. Tom Ross also, agent. Bottom right-hand side of your screen.
It's his agent who looks after a lot of the players. Well, all the agents show up at the World Championship finals. Chang made an error the last time he was in there. It cost him the game on the volley, but not this on this occasion. Look, good technique on that volley. It was a higher ball. He was able to put it away comfortably.
Just keeps the pressure on the server, as you pointed out from the statistics for this year. He wins 1 in about 3 of his opponent's serves, Agassi, and it's a tremendous effort from him.
That's why I called the tournament the Paris Open a couple of weekends ago with Luke Jensen, and that's why Mookie calls Agassi the Punisher. He just makes you work so hard for every ball. Doesn't take it necessarily out of your reach, but hits it hard and moves you around and forces things. And now he's got 3 break points. They've already broken each other once in this early first set.
The thing about Agassi is that while he has topspin on his shots, and he can put a lot of topspin on if he wants, he's not that typical kind of top spinner where the ball is short. You know, he can hit the ball consistently, much more flatly, I guess, than other players.
But he hits much harder in practice, doesn't he, than he hits in a match now. He lets it all out, hot dogs it in practice against Gilbert. In a match, boy, very workmanlike. And there is another spiel for Agassi, his second break.
3 games to 2, Agassi with a break in the first set.
Agassi first, right spot.
Frankfurt looks pretty at night, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yeah. It's been a wet day here in Frankfurt today. A little rain. Hope everything's all right in Florida, though. They've had that. Hope my house is still there. Miami's not doing too well with that hurricane.
I guess you guys got a little of a too, didn't you, Mary, in Naples?
Yep, it's all gone now, though. A lot of wind and rain. The Davis Cup, first round in 1995 between the U.S. and France, has been decided. It's going to be in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is a little bit of an upset. We all thought it would be a West Coast match, because the players would be coming from the Australian Open.
It is an upset, but a win for you two Floridians.
Exactly. Bayfront Center. And Captain Tom Gullickson, Davis Cup captain, has already gotten the news that Jim Courier will avail himself, and Todd Martin as well. He's here recruiting. He's been talking to Andre Agassi this week, Michael Chang as well. He hopes to form a one big Davis Cup squad next year.
Big serve from Agassi, 188 km/h. It's about 117 miles an hour.
Neither one of these two played Davis Cup this year. U.S., of course, lost in the semis to Sweden.
Game point Agassi. Chang didn't like the call, but it's game point Agassi and game, and it's 4-2.
Captain Gullickson has got it. As you have another look, Chang thought this one was a bit big, I guess, or perhaps wide.
In my mind.
That's the last.
Two, she said that she saw them good. Well,
yeah, they've been complaining about that one lineswoman.
We go with it for the next game, then I talk.
The last changeover, Agassi had a discussion with chair umpire Jerry Armstrong. It was along the same lines there with one lines judge on the service line who alternates. She changes and she's missed a few calls, so they've asked for her to be replaced, but Jerry Armstrong says he will call the supervisor after the next changeover.
Is why they usually rotate the lines people every hour, but if there's a lines person that the players tend to complain about, what they'll do sometimes is take them off that line. You see that scar on Andre Agassi's right hand. 1 year ago, he weighed 20 pounds more than he does now and was having all kinds of wrist problems.
Then he had wrist surgery, which is the scar as a result of that. Came back in Scottsdale and won it this year.
Look at this. He's won 10 of the last 11 points. Now Michael Chang has gone away.
Gone off the boil.
Yeah, he's gone off the boil.
And I think a lot of that is, Lonnie, you don't find Chang losing concentration very often, but I think it's because of the calls on that service line over the last 3 or 4 games. It's just upset him a little bit.
Love 30, 2-4.
I mean, he's had 16 unforced errors already, Michael Chang. That equals 4 games.
A lot of firepower, Agassi. Anything short, and he punishes it, and he has done so very successfully so far, combined with the unforced errors from Chang. He has break points, 3 of them for Agassi for a second break and to go up 5-2. Here's the break. And it's 5 games to 2. Agassi will serve for the first set. Players are going to take a break, and we'll join him. There's $90,000 at stake here for each round-robin match, and then trying to get a place in the semi-final on Saturday. That's worth $320 to win that one, and to win the final is worth $650,000. So a winner who does not lose a match will take home over $1.3 million. If you lose one match and still go on to win the thing, $1.16 million. $3 million in all here in Frankfurt for the players.
Andre Agassi serving with new balls. Both players have asked that Cyclops, the electronic line caller on the serve, be turned off. They don't trust it. Agassi has broken Michael Chang 3 times now. And Chang broke him once. He seems in utter control, Andre Agassi. That is the kind of stuff Chang was going to have to come up with time and again. And, of course, there's not a great percentage in going after something this big.
And it's not his natural tendencies also, so when he starts to miss a few, it's because it's not natural for him to be that aggressive.
Love 30. Agassi's been broken once. Chang has only held serve once in the set. 15-30.
He overplayed that one.
By a mile, and it's break points here for Chang.
A little indecisive there. I thought he was going to hit that like an overhead smash it. He had time, and then he changed his mind to try and drive it. Wasn't quite in position to make the shot.
Agassi actually started out the year pretty well. He won Scottsdale, and then at the Lipton, remember, he lost to Pete Sampras in the final, but he beat Patrick Rafter and Edberg and Becker there. And then he had a mediocre season through Wimbledon, and then things really turned around for him. Now he's number 2 in the world. That's long. Deuce.
Things that make it so tough for Michael Chang here is when he's trying to create pace, he's got to do it from behind the baseline. And when Agassi starts to dictate the trend of the point, then he's doing it from inside that baseline.
Passing shot, rifle shot.
And Agassi actually thought that approach from Chang was long, but he swings at it like a half volley and it snaps it, goes back down the line for the winner. But then he looked at the lines judge and said, hey, wasn't that out? It didn't really matter, though.
It wasn't anyway. It was good.
I think he looked over to Brad Gilbert and his brother. As if to say, what about that one, boys?
Set point, Agassi.
Terrific return of service. Way out of court there, and good depth on that one. It's a good play against a two-handed backhand, because normally when they serve, they fudge over a little bit, creep over a little bit to hit a forehand, and that opens up the court for them if you can go down the line.
That's a terrific approach there from Chang. He's got another break point here. Never count him out. Talk about his speed. The other thing about him is he never gives up, does he?
Yeah, he moves into this shot. Gives that one a little bit more air, a little bit more margin for error on that forehand approach.
Wide. 163 Ks on that. 102 miles an hour. Not especially hard, but it was very deep and right into the body. Break point again for Chang. It is called long, and the game is over in favor of Chang. He has broken Agassi twice. The problem is he has himself been broken 3 times in the match. Agassi leading 5-3.
Agassi first 5 games to 3.
Yeah, he is speedy. You got that right.
Agassi saying, yep, it was wide, just to help calm down Chang. A lot of backhand errors from Chang. 13 now off that side alone. Agassi punished his forehand and then brought it over to the backhand side and caught Michael Chang just a bit off balance.
Wide. 15 all.
He's really going for much more than Agassi, isn't he? He's the one who's trying to take this match to the #2 player in the world. And it's a difficult thing to do. He does a good job of it in this point. He's taking more chances, and he has to. 15 all.
A lot of the players now, Mary, have gone to that habit of breathing out as they strike the ball, like a fish thing. They push there, they blow the air out of their mouth as they strike the ball. Michael Chang, you saw it on that last replay, how that happened on his forehand approach.
Yep.
The experts apparently tell you that's energy efficient or something like that.
Yeah, to exhale at the point of contact.
Another shot there, and again in that very aggressive mode. Still down a break though.
Game point Chang. Solid play from Chang. He holds on. He's still down a break though. Agassi will have a chance for the second time to serve for the first set. It's Andre Agassi to serve for the second time for the first set. He's taken on Michael Chang, both of the USA in the same division, the red group.
Have a look at the winners and the errors there. Agassi, only 6 winners to Chang's 9. They've come in the last couple of games. Chang, he's played well. Errors there. Agassi 9, 19 for Chang, and 13 of those have been from the backhand side.
A reminder, Agassi has won 1 and not lost any yet in his group. Michael Chang went out to Sergio Bruguera. He's 1-1. He, like Agassi, took out Berasategui of Spain, clay quarter easily.
Lots of service breaks in this opening set.
If Chang doesn't win this match here against Agassi, just to remind you, he will definitely not make it to the semifinals on Saturday. On the other hand, if Agassi loses today, he could still make it, depending on the outcome of tomorrow's matches. 30-15, Agassi. Chang's down, and Agassi wonders. But I think he's going to get up just fine.
Straight down the middle this time. Chang slips, and boy, that hurt. He was anticipating the cross-court forehand there. The feet go from underneath him, and boy, don't want to do that too many times.
Seen some slipping on this court. Berasategui, of course, he's not used to this footing on this. I mean, he likes to play outdoors, but look at that. And we saw some of that in Stockholm as well. It's a surprise because, you know, unless there may be some sweat from a previous point or something, and you can see him drying out whatever sweat there was because he's lying down on the court. But otherwise, this court, usually the footing is terrific on it.
It also depends on your shoes. You know, if they're rubbery soled or if they're more that polyurethane stuff, which slides more. It's a rubber court. It's not a carpet. And again, pressing off that backhand side, he comes up and he wants so badly, Chang, to attack the backhand and get himself in a good position, but he keeps lifting off his shot. He's coming out of it early.
Set points for Agassi.
14 unforced errors off the backhand.
You get so anxious, you want to hit it and see where it goes and then get into position. Very common. An ace to finish it.
Agassi's serve for it at 5-2. Came up short, but has won the first set anyway.
And really, this is just about the only real moment of flash from Agassi. His first ace of the match to decide the first set.
Showing the crowd how he can control the ball on the edge of the racket.
First point, second set.
Anything that Agassi does here is reported in the papers or on television. He is a big favourite here in Europe. Has not been here to the finals for a few years. This place is sold out every night.
Yeah, he didn't make it the
Every
last
day.
2 years.
This is Chang's third straight trip to Frankfurt.
Front set 5. 15 all. First set rising, 15-30.
The German tabloids are a bit disappointed that Andre Agassi's girlfriend, Brooke Shields, is not here in Frankfurt. But she is still on the road practicing. She's in the play Grease, which hits Broadway November 22nd. Agassi has already been on the road and seen it a few times. She's a pink lady, if you're familiar with the 72 play. She plays Rizzo, the bad girl.
Not a fine approach from Chang this occasion, and a better volley. He's got Agassi stretched out pretty good on that occasion. Watch this, eyes totally on the ball, head of the racket up, good firm wrist, and then he comes underneath it nice and softly to create the angle.
Game point now for Chang. The tabloid press here, Mary, you've got plenty to write about that because Boris Becker is doing so well here. In fact, they were running around today trying to find Boris Becker stories. He is not playing today, but they've got to write something about him. Game point, Chang. Deuce, first game, second set.
Racket that Michael Chang is using went out of production for a while. It's a Prince Graphite. It was a popular racket amongst the players. And Chang experimented with some other rackets to try and get a little bit more power from them, and finally went back to the frame that he did all his good work with, and is very comfortable again with that particular frame.
116 miles an hour that last serve.
Spiel Chang.
And an ace to finish it off.
So Chang has a one-game-to-love lead in the second. He lost the first set 6-4 to Agassi, both of the USA.
Well, when they did the draw here, they said that this group was the baseline group, the red group. It's turned out that way. Look at the errors in the first set. Agassi only 1 backhand error and 14 backhand errors for Michael Chang. First serve percentages, 70% for Agassi, 63% for Chang. 5 breaks of serve. What does that tell you? That tells you that they're returning serve a little better than they're serving. And there you have a look at a good close-up of Andre Agassi's new outfit as far as his socks are concerned.
A fashion risk.
We talked about Michael Chang's racket. Agassi has a new racket on the market from Head. It's similar to the one that he's been using all these years. Both oversized rackets that Chang and Agassi use. Not wide bodies, though.
15 all.
It's another explosive return. He's had a lot of success with this one. Again, down into that corner because Agassi goes over to protect the two-hander and run round and hit forehands.
Concentrate.
15:30. They played against each other 8 times, as we mentioned at the start of the show. One time that Agassi beat Chang was at the French Open after Chang had won the French in '89. He beat him in '90 and then got all the way to the final. Two times that Chang has beaten him were both on hard courts. Last year in Cincinnati. And then at the Canadian Open the year before that.
Both times they went 3 sets, so Chang can beat Agassi, but he knows how much work it entails. Here's a chance, though, for Michael Chang once again to break Agassi.
Break points haven't meant much, or breaks really haven't meant much. There was 5 service breaks in the opening set. If you get that in a serve and volley match, then that just doesn't happen in a serve and volley match.
Agassi saved 1. He was broken twice, both from this side of the court, by the way, in the first set.
Well, they're both serving high percentage, but they're much more effective as returners.
That's going to go wide, deuce.
Agassi has faced 7 break points now. That's a lot because he's been very, very effective serving Agassi. His coach, Brad Gilbert, has tried to tell him, don't go for the big heat all the time. Just get it in a lot, and that'll put enough pressure. It hasn't for him enough today. He's been worried by Chang.
Called wide. I wonder if Agassi's going to complain. It looked to me like it was a complainable call, but he's not. Break point again here for Chang. Look at this.
Hotel Chang.
Yeah, I think
Close.
it was a complainable call, yeah.
Anyway, it didn't go his way, so another break point chance for Chang. Took it out of the air and paid the price. That is a signature Agassi shot, but he didn't make that one. You could hear it wrapping it around the frame of the racket, and he is broken 2 games to love Chang.
No chance of complainability here. Well wide of the mark.
It's the time that Agassi's got to break right back, because if Chang gets a good lead, he can be tough. But right now is the time to break back. As soon as you've had your service broken, concentrate a little bit harder, put the pressure on, try and get it back immediately.
No prices. Love 30.
Love 30, a little flicky backhand off good deep return. He's 2 unforced errors on the backhand side in this game. Crowd want this one to go 3.
Very different match this from the one played so brilliantly earlier today.
15-30.
Edberg and Sampras. Totally different styles of play. But these two have a lot in common, don't they, as tennis players?
15-40.
What makes them great, basically the same thing, is the pressure that they can put on the server constantly. Break points here for Agassi as he puts pressure on Chang. Good court coverage there from Agassi as he gets his first break of the second set. He was broken last time he served, so we're on serve. It's 2-1. Agassi to serve. Don't mess around with the frilly names in England, do they? The championships, better known as Wimbledon. Agassi has won Wimbledon. Chang's won the French championships. That's the only Grand Slam he's won. Agassi has also won the US Open, in fact, this year. All.
This is a well-played point. Agassi works his way into the net. And again, that high forehand volley, well executed. Talk about Wimbledon. Most Americans that are pretty unfamiliar with our sport call it Wimbledon.
Pete Sampras did that until finally we all banged it into his head that there was a D in there, not a T.
Yeah. So now you folks that view our tennis coverage at home, you know it's Wimbledon now, not Wimbledon.
British press would cringe every time he said it.
Yeah.
They really did. Only Agassi's second ace of the match. He hasn't missed a first serve yet in this set.
30-15.
There it is.
Don't say things like that, Mary. That always puts the mocker on people.
Oh, that is wide, but what a shot. Easy gets a good angle, doesn't he? Running wide, the two-hander, it is not that easy to hook it across there.
That's why they say that the rackets today, the bigger rackets and the material they use in the rackets has helped the big servers. I also feel it helps these fellows because on the returner serve, you can flick the balls. You can do that to create angles like Agassi did on that last one. You got to flick the ball from the baseline, and you couldn't do that in the old days with the wooden frames, or even in the early days with the just the aluminum rackets didn't allow you to get the head of the racket through as quickly as the light materials that they use in the rackets today.
He tries to go down the line and does. That clipped the line. What a shot from Agassi. You just saw what he tried to do the last time there on this running backhand cross court. This time he goes down the line and makes it.
Great preparation on that again on the run. You could see that the racket was back ready. Look at that. Before that ball bounces and he is able to set yourself. If you got the racket back early, you have time to make your choice to go cross court. You can flick it through or go down the line. You got to hurry it. You don't have those luxuries.
Game point Agassi. Agassi holds on. It is 2-all in the second set.
By the way, Michael Chang has a souped-up racket. The one he uses is slightly extended because he chokes up on his grip. And so he went to the Prince people and said, look, I'm losing some leverage because I choke up on the racket so much. And so he's got a longer shaft than a normal Prince racket. They make it just for him to his specifics. He gets a little bit more than an inch, almost 2 inches extra on his frame.
And then he chokes up on it, which takes it back to about...
Right, so he's back even. But I agree with what you're saying, Fred. In this rally here, for instance, which just gets busted straight wide open by Agassi, if you had put wood rackets in these two guys' hands, they just could not create this kind of tennis, this kind of power. Whereas the match we just watched between Pete Sampras and Stefan Edberg, you give those guys wooden rackets, and the match would look very much the same.
Because of the serve and volley of it all, yeah.
See, here's another, that's why I think it's a bogus argument when people are complaining that the big rackets, the graphite rackets, ruin the game by helping the certain volleyers. I think these kind of guys, the counterpunchers, the baseliners, the guys who have to hit passing shots on the run and huge returns, I think they're more helped.
15-all. point is that it's the monotony of the points that we have got to try to come to terms with, and really it's just a matter of slowing the court down, and that has to some extent happened right here. You've seen a lot more balls hit in this indoor tournament than you have until now, here certainly, and in most indoor events anywhere. And that's a good thing.
That's because the ball's more so than the court, and I mentioned in yesterday's telecast they have 3 machines now, the ITF and the ATP.
Oh, yes, coverage.
Unbelievable point. And we're going to see a replay on that one, so I'll finish that story about those machines that can tell you about the courts later. Watch this. This is an unbelievable, the best point in this match. Agassi gets the volley, and it's Chang who covers it up again. They'll show you this from all different angles.
Right 6-5, 30.
Interesting angles we saw those from.
Yeah, I don't think that's what
Didn't see any players.
that one meant. Our friends from German TV, they have 17 cameras pointing at this court. That's why the coverage is so interesting.
Yeah, I didn't, obviously not on that last point, but in general, the pictures that they have given us, because we're taking their feed here, we don't have our own cameras here, has really been sensational. Break point. That is long, and Agassi has broken again. Chang having difficulty holding on to serve period in this match. It's 3-2 Agassi with a break. Andre Agassi won this tournament in 1990. It was the first time that it was played here in Frankfurt. McEnroe in New York won it a couple of times. Dendel 3 times in New York, the year-ending event. Becker, Edberg. Sampras won it 3 years ago. Becker in 92 on his birthday against Jim Courier, after Courier had taken out Sampras in the semi-final. Steek won it last year, didn't qualify this year. Agassi to serve ahead with a break and leading 1 set to love. Freddie, we're going to get back to that story about the machines and the ball.
Yeah, the ITF and the ATP have 3 machines now around the world that can get to test the ball and the surface at the same time, so they can regulate the surfaces, the speed of the court, and make a ball to suit that surface, indoors, on clay, outdoors, on a grass court at Wimbledon, and on the hard court. So I think that eventually that will help the game when you can regulate the balls, and they must use that ball on that surface on the ATP Tour.
Coordination of the ball in the courts, I think it'd help a lot. I really do. Always thought that. Watch this.
Another terrific rally here. These boys from the baseline are just letting it all go.
And not identify all of these folks for you.
That's Christopher Lambert, the actor.
As I said, I couldn't identify.
Well, I guess you didn't see Tarzan.
You could probably identify with the person next to him. But
Agassi's 4th ace.
Agassi holds on easily here. He is ahead now 4 games to 2 and 1 set to love.
You know, most garden variety tennis players at home, they don't really give a rip about what kind of balls, you know, they use.
Yeah.
They use any kind they want, but tournament directors know when they've got, if there's a player, a top player who's been injured or is thinking of playing their event and they haven't given word yet. The tournament directors always heave a sigh of relief when the agents of these guys call up and say, well, what kind of balls are you using? That's a sign that they got it. That's a sign that they'll probably show up. Because that means they're going to be practicing with the proper ball.
Well, it's pretty much pen tennis balls now used in all the ATP Tour events.
They have an ATP Tour ball made by Penn. Playing with that here.
Well, there's a miss hit.
That's a double hit.
Yep.
This point will not count on Michael Chang's permanent record. Doesn't get credit for this. Nice effort, though.
Good high-lie. Catch and swing, yep.
30-15 Chang. Second ace.
30-15.
Out of reach on the serve, and Chang holds on. He's still a breaker serve down. 4-3. Agassi leads with a break. He won the first set with the Festhalle in Frankfurt.
Time.
The white group looks like this. Pete Sampras is 1-1 now after a win today over Stefan Edberg. It was a terrific match, and time permitting, we're going to show you some of that match when this is over. Goran Ivanisevic is 0-2, so he's out of here. Becker is going to be playing on Saturday for sure because he has 2-0. The red group is what you're watching now. So Agassi has 1-1. So he's trying to win his second here. Bruguera is 1-0 because he beat Chang. Chang is 1-1, and Beresategi is also south. He's gone.
South, does that mean he's gone home to Spain?
Well, not yet.
Oh.
No, 15.
Of 15. That is his first double fault. He's ahead with a break 4-3 in the second set, and he won the first 6-4, but he was broken a couple of times in that first set. And he broke in turn Chang 3 times.
It's a terrific stadium to watch tennis, as you can see by some of the shots. Very intimate, very close.
He's just not hitting that backhand well at all, is he?
He's
Another
hurrying and
error.
he's snapping at it, though, isn't it? There's not a lot of follow through, is it? He just a lot of wrist work, and when you have a lot of wrist work with your backhand, your hitting zone, you've got just a fraction of an area to hit that ball to strike it correctly. If you follow through and you stay on the ball a little bit longer, you can adjust better.
Right, 30-15.
The balls are heavier, and that may be a factor for Chang. I don't know. But you're not used to seeing him make this many unforced errors from relatively easy spots.
Fred, Cliff, he should be used to the balls. Michael Chang, after playing in the Paris Open, came right here to Frankfurt, not even knowing he'd already qualified, hoping he had. So he's been here a long time practicing in these conditions with these balls. He is, I agree with Fred, he's just snatching at the ball, even on his forehand.
That's 3 in this game.
You know, he wants so badly to create something, to make something happen.
Game points for Agassi.
A couple of points here now for a set and then a 5-3 lead.
It's been a long season for Agassi since Wimbledon. He's played so well, as we pointed out, winning the Canadian, and you know, every time he's entered a tournament, he's got to the end of it. He won the US Open 2 weeks, and that'll get your attention, just takes it out of you. He comes over here and wins 2 indoor tournaments as well. Then he went back after winning Paris and came back to Frankfurt for this event. That is long, but he's not showing any signs of physical or mental fatigue yet. as he takes a 5-3 lead in 1 set to love.
We call this group the baseliners group, and there's a good reason for it. The match earlier than this that was just serve and volley with Edberg and Sampras was brilliantly played. In this particular match, Agassi has been to the net on 12 occasions, and Michael Chang's been in there 17 times.
Ooh, picked that one up and just clipped the tape on the attempted pass. Look,
you've got to go into the net under these circumstances. He barely gets to this one. Agassi has a good crack at the forehand.
Right.
162. That makes just about 100 miles an hour.
That's one of the reasons he may have improved his serve, because when you lengthen that racket, you get a little more leverage on that serve. You're going to get more power, so that's where he's come. If the racket's 2 inches longer, he's certainly going to get a little bit more leverage on that serve and hit it harder.
See any reason why that wouldn't be true of all the strokes, really? Gives you just a little more of the whip.
Andre Agassi looking for a little bit more heat on his shots too, and he's gone to a livelier gut string in his cross strings, not the long strings on his frame, but the cross strings. Added edge. A lot of the top players have gone back to the gut, the natural gut.
Well, yeah, he just has the gut and the crosses, and he uses a synthetic in the mains. And that helps the re-strings last longer, because with those oversized rackets, the strings tend to move a lot more than they do in a conventional size racket, so they rub against one another and they break a lot more often. That's one of the reasons why there are many, many more mid-sized frames used on the tour than oversized frames, because most of the professional tennis players like to use gut in their frames, but in an oversized racket that these two boys use, they would break too many strings. Oh, that's well played.
Here's that one down the line. Still game point for Chang coming up at 40-30. Watch.
Watch what happens here. You step outside the line, then you create an angle, go down. Agassi, this one's right on the line. Chang thinks this one is going to go out, and it's not in until it hits the ground because it's coming in at that angle.
Oh,
another
man.
one. I mean, that was a one-hander that he hooked from way wide, and it also curled in.
This is a big difference in Agassi. You know, he used to let love 40 games. You know, if he was down like that, 40 love, he just let the game go. And look at this. Now he's climbed right back into deuce, and now he's 2 points from securing his spot into the semifinals of this event. And he's on the ball. He reminds me so much of the way Boris Becker is playing these days, point for point, right there, focus throughout.
You're so right there, Mary, because what that does, it allows it lets your opponent know that, hey, this guy's not going to give up on those points. Brad Gilbert's nodding his head saying, yeah, this is the way I want my boy to play. Go for everything. Try for everything.
Yep. Approach shot about as deep as he could have hit it on the line, and that won him that point. Game point Chang now.
I find it strange when you look at the Chang family. Mum and dad are sitting in one corner, and son in the other corner, and the agent in the other corner. And there's about 10 seats in the box.
So there's the game. It is going to last a little longer, this match, as it's going to be up to Andre Agassi to serve it out now. He's got to set the break. We're having some technical difficulties here in Frankfurt, so you may not recognize our graphics. But anyways, this is Andre Agassi serving now for the match. Well, 15.
He's missed a lot of two-handers so far in this match. On that occasion, he knows he's got to keep the pressure on Agassi. He's got to come in and let Agassi hit the winners.
Just long, Chang saved a match point on his serve in the last game. Now 15 all.
You could feel Chang looking for his chances, can't you? I mean, he knows he's got to affect that sort of siege mentality. But of course, the numbers aren't in it when you're playing against someone who's been as consistently muscular all around the court as Agassi.
Great get from Chang. Good move. Half volley. Chang finds it. Take a look at this again.
Picks up the half volley. Good wheels from Agassi here. The racket out in front, but a dive from Chang saves the point and brings the crowd to their feet. One more time, the good wheels. Get there and look at that stretch.
15-30.
15.
Difference has been when Agassi has been able to dictate the trend of this match. You can see Chang, as he has been doing all through the match, when he's on the defensive, he's about 3 or 4 feet behind that baseline, and it's Agassi who's inside driving the ball deep.
Two points from the match. One-handed backhand attempt there from Chang. Clipped the tape. Match point Agassi. 6-4 first of Agassi. 5-4 now. And 40-30. just wide. Set and match to Agassi, 6-4, 6-4. So Agassi will play on Saturday in the semifinals. Chang, meanwhile, is out. His run here at Frankfurt, which has really been pretty dismal these last 3 efforts, continues. Chang will not be in the semifinal. Meanwhile, Agassi of the USA, a semifinalist for sure at the World Championship here in Frankfurt.